there's these offshoots kind of get generated quite often. Mm-hmm. I'm just not sure how much in disagreement with they are with one another on like fundamental issues. If we can all gather them together and say, you did to this, this, and this, and this, and they're all like, yes, but here's why, right? If we want to be gracious in that kind of a conversation. So tell us kind of what the reasons for a lot of their separations are.
Well, there's sort of a fundamentalism in a lot of One West Hebrew Israelites, where it's like, well, if you don't agree on this, the Most High's not dealing with you. And it could be something like, can women wear pants?
And she's burning a shirt with scriptures and fringes while she got pants on and a 6-pointed star on her shoulder. She got idols on her shirt, idols around her neck, and she's burning a shirt with fringes and scriptures on it while she's wearing pants.
These guys in charge of these schools, a lot of times, tend to be authoritarian and whatnot. Then you got things like, we don't use that verse anymore for a breakdown. So, the groups will be using a certain verse, and then they'll say, well, actually, that's for whatever reason. Sometimes it's because of interactions they've had with Christian apologists. They'll say, we don't use that verse anymore. And that's not as an egregious offense, but what will happen is you'll have this group drop using this verse. And so the camp members have to all be aware, hey, we can't use that verse as a proof text anymore. But then some of the other camps that have been using that verse for decades, they're still using it. So then it looks like a difference in that way. And so some of them are kind of minor. Others are just because of the extraordinary claims these groups make, like ISUPK, General Yohana. You have to refer to him as Commanding General Yohana, number one. He has a subtitle that literally reads "Second Only to Christ." That's his second title.
Brother said, go read this on the ISUPK site. He said that he's second only to Christ. I said I had to see it to believe it. I've been telling you. Cult.
His group, they refer to their group as the home of the truth. And so they'll say the Most High is not dealing with any other group. And General Yohana is the one who's supposed to lead all of Israel.
So they're exclusivists.
Yeah, and so some of them are like that. But some of the other groups kind of operate that way. GMS, they'll say we teach 100% truth. So it's not the home of the truth, but it's 100% truth. And usually the indication is, and the other groups don't teach 100% truth.
And to her, I don't even know why nobody wipes him. I've seen them, they go find a corner where nobody walks by, they prophesied.
Is that an office, the second to Christ, or is it just attached to an individual?
All the praises and the honor goes to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Recha Ha Quadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brethren. Shalom to you, few sisters, and shalom to the hopefully elect. Peace to you. I want to touch on this video with Vocab Malone. I have no idea what I'll title it or where I'm going to go, but I did think earlier, as watching several videos dealing with these particular topics, that there's two different kinds of awakenings, right? And we'll get into that in a second as well, Lord's willing, Lord's will. But I want to touch on this video here by Vocab Malone. What does it say? Why do Israelite camps fight each other so much? Well, just like at the time of the Reformation, when the Christians had arguments and issues with one another, whenever you come into power and you start coming into your power, it's always going to be a tussle. It's always going to be a fight, right? Now, this man, Jephthah, who had something smart to say about the apostles of Great Millstone and where they teach, which they are in the highways and hedges, and why did this man go look for them to see where they teach? I don't know, that's weird and obsessive in itself, but that's what he said. But when I go onto his page, he doesn't tend to stand on an exciting corner himself. But when I go to his page, it's nothing. Let me see. He went to downtown or something. If you go out and you teach and you got a false prophecy, it's not going to do you any good anyway, because at this stage we are about prophecy. Okay, so let's go to his lives, his teaching channels. He's got a video up where he was edifying some woman, two women, right? Talking about teaching the sheep, two black women. It's 2 minutes, right? He's got another video titled Moses Breaking Bread with the Sheep, 1 minute and 28 seconds. Another minute, Elder Breaking Bread, 4 minutes. And another one's 27 seconds. You get the point. This was literally 6 months ago. All of them was 6 months ago. And then 7 months. This is not good. This is not a good behavior of a prophet. Right? This is definitely not. Now, we know all the time is for the Lord. Right? That's what it is. But 5 minutes? 5-minute videos? 9-minute videos? What's up, man? What's up with y'all camera, man? What's up with that? And each video got tiny little clips that's dealing with different things. 39 minutes, that's the longest I've seen. 15 minutes. Ministering the word of Christ. This is what they teach, Christ. Everything with them is Christ. They don't believe Yahweh work miracles, right? They don't believe in the MOTB, the RFID. They don't believe in that. And that's most of these camps. But the main things, they don't believe who Edom is, and they believe all can be saved. So what are they out there for? If all could be saved, why are you trying to reach so-called black people? Or even Israelites? Why are you calling yourself an Israelite? You should be out there trying to reach everybody. This is where this group folds, man. They believe Alexander was an Israelite. I'm not going to waste no more time with it, but you get to the point. So I go to their Facebook. They say, click on our Facebook. Okay, it's a bunch of lessons, 2 hours, 3 hours long, right? A whole bunch of lessons, you know, that you can, we got a lot of lessons up, but why aren't you out teaching? Why aren't you doing what the scripture says, go to the highways and the hedges, right? Nothing wrong with sit downs and lessons. We're not saying that. But 2-minute videos out on the hedges, that's not very good teaching. I don't know how much edification you're going to get out of that with shaking some white woman's hand and teaching her the 10 Commandments. I don't know about that. But anyway, going into this lesson, let's go to Daniel 12:2. It says, and many of them that sleep in the dust of earth shall awake from everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, okay? And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever, right? Which is ultimately the elect. And this is what Great Millstone teach. We teach the elect. And that's what we're going to go further in this video in. When you're dealing with trying to raise up a nation, it's the elect out of the nation. And this is why we can't get along with different groups, because upon the awakening, you got to remember, you had wicked Israelites back then. Remember, Ecclesiastes 1:9. There's no new thing under the sun. Paul was catching hell from the Israelites. So was the one you call Jesus, Yahushua. He was catching hell too. So you had many different sects or beliefs. I remember Paul went in the synagogues and was battling, I don't remember if it was 2 months or 2 years, or 3 years, but he was going back and forth with the other Israelites. Yahushua, I believe in the John the 9th or the 11th chapter, somewhere around there, they start throwing things at him and he had to get out of there. So this has always been a beef between Israel versus Israel, right? So I just want to make that known. This is nothing new. So vocab in this guy, he's Armenian, and you had a lot of Israelites saying that he was, go back to the mountains where he crawled from. Now you can look at the map of Armenia and where it's located, but clearly there's Israelites. A lot of those Armenians are Israelites as well, right? There's history on that as well, but I'm not going to go into that. So this is where we differ between us and different Israelites. The IUIC kind of got mad at the woman. They act like they didn't care, but the woman burnt an IUIC shirt, set it on fire, all while wearing pants. They demand women to wear, dresses, long dresses. So we all have differences in doctrine, right? Because you have to understand this thing is covered by mercy and grace, but also by faith and following the law to the best of your ability. So honestly, she shouldn't have been in pants burning anything, but that shirt represents Christ, our oppressor. So what can we say on that? She's burnt the name of the oppressor. So we're not going to all get along, right? It's never meant for us to get along. There's two types of awakenings. The elect, and then you're going to have other Israelites who will awake as well. This is not about Israelites versus the rest of the world. This is about the elect versus the rest of the world. Because even if you're an Israelite, you could still be a part of the world, right? Just because you wake and find out you're an Israelite, don't mean you're going to be saved. Doesn't mean first ticket salvation being delivered. It doesn't mean that. That's why Yahushua said in John 15, if the world hated me, know it hated you. If the world hated you, know it hated me before it hated you. There's Israelites who was created just for destruction. Proverbs 16:3. It says, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. Right? This is what's happening. This is why you see the awakening that you have. This is why you see the Israelites. This is why you see the beefing and the back and forth, the fights. If the Lord didn't want this, would it be happening? And really, you Christians, you with your first St. Mark Episcopalian church and your other church, St. Luke's Roman Catholic Church, or whatever you want to call it, First Manor Baptist Church, you all got a lot of different doctrines. You lay hands on people, right? You speak in tongues. Some of you don't lay hands. Some of you got multiple doctrines that you should be defending for the truth, for the faith. Vocab is coming against the Israelites to defending Christianity, but in Christianity, he should be defending, if he's a man of God, right? I'll say it like that. He should be defending all Christianity and fighting for the doctrines that's in Christianity. That's what we do. This is why this guy Jephthah has these issues, and he throw those side attacks out, those little shots. I did a video on him. You can't put new wine in an old bottle. This was talking about the bags of wine. You had ancient bottles, right? And what happened is when that bag was full of, it was so-called fermented, you put fermented wine inside those bags, they would expand and burst. So really, when you look at the scriptures and it talks about drunken with wine, false doctrines, right? You can't technically put, false doctrines, right, in a righteous man, or he will burst. Something of that nature. But this is nothing new, right? There's nothing that hasn't been done, and this is just what it is. We're gonna stand up and we're gonna defend the truth. That's just what it is. Have Apostle Tahar, starting with Apostle Tahar and the other apostles, have they quit? Have they been out there all those years? Where you been at, Jephthah? Where you been at? You pop up with that one body in Yahushua, so to speak. Now, then it's one body in Christ. Now it's just one body. Now, where you at? When the audience is, when you cracking your little jokes, you hear the same goddamn woman in the front with her little snicker. The same damn woman, man. The same audience, the same people, the same jokes. All right? That's all these guys are. Okay, let's go to 1 Timothy 6. And let's go to 1 Timothy 6 and verse 3. It says, let me see where I'm at. If any man teach otherwise and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Yahushua, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness, he is proud, knowing nothing. So now it says unto doctrine. Remember Ephesians 4:4 says one body, one doctrine. These guys claim themselves to be one body. And really, they kind of do have their right to contend with us on doctrine. But at the end, you see who always rises to the top. He is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions. See, a lot of these Israelites are in it for a show. They're in it for entertainment. Some of these guys come out throwing garments, stand out, throwing big signs, stand on these big signs, got their fringes because their wives is looking, or their girlfriends, or their children, or their brothers, or they can get some recognition in the so-called Israelite community, or they just want to be a part of something. Their life is boring. They want to rebel against the white man, or against their wives, or who cheated on them and took their children. That's what a lot of guys come out there for, man. They never made Netflix, so they decided to do something like this, just to curse out everybody, just to sound deep. A lot of guys wasn't smart, so they found a way to get smart. That's what I see. Anyway, it says, he is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words, where there cometh envy, strife, railing, surmisings. Right? This also goes into a lot of those prophets. You got to read a lot of history on Apostle Paul and what he was going through. A lot of these prophets, this is why he had to say the endless fables and genealogy. They were still connecting with that Egyptology stuff, man. You had Israelites who wanted to be everything else but Israel. They was going into reincarnation of birds and animals and stuff, man. Let's go to Matthew 23. It says, but 23:5, but all their works they do to be seen of men. So can you say this about all the heads of Israel? This General Yohanan says he's the commanding general. And you see these guys, he doesn't even go out. Bishop Nathaniel rarely goes out. Jephthah doesn't even go out. The only ones that go out is Great Millstone, who has continued to go out. So according to this guy, are we supposed to post up like in the dead end of some stadium or arena for 2 minutes? Or are you doing it to be seen of men, or are you doing it to prophesy and teach? The scriptures also say prophesy to the wind, if need be. The word going out there, man. And I'm going to be honest. If these men been pushing 30, 40 plus years, they could easily say, hey, man, it's no reason for us to go out. we got the men going out like the bishop and all them. But Great Millstone sets the standard to stay ahead of these other groups and follow what the Most High said to do. Just like Noah did, right? Just like the other prophets did, just like John did. You know? John the Revelator, John the Baptist, all the prophets, even Yahushua. Be faithful until the end. These guys all took breaks. They lukewarm, man. But that's pretty much the point. That's all I have on that. Shalom.